You know that moment when your child goes quiet after something you said, and you brush it off thinking they'll be fine? What if I told you that moment, that one small moment, is quietly shaping who they become for the rest of their life? Most parents never see it happening. And that's the scariest part. This isn't about bad parents. This is about good parents doing things that nobody ever warned them about. Things that research in child psychology has confirmed damage confidence in children far more than anyone realizes. If you're watching this right now, you already care more than most people do, and that matters. But caring isn't always enough when you don't know what to look for. Here's what most parents don't realize. Confidence in a child isn't built in big moments. It's built or destroyed in thousands of tiny invisible moments that happen every single day inside your home, during dinner, in the car, at bedtime. And the scary truth is that the mistakes most damaging to child confidence are not the obvious ones. They're the quiet ones, the ones you'd never even think twice about. Before we go any further, if you're the kind of parent who wants real tools, real strategies, and not just surface-level advice, we have related programs linked in the description below this video. These are for parents who are serious about change, who don't want to look back years from now wishing they had acted sooner. The window to shape your child's confidence and identity is smaller than you think. Most parents find out too late. Don't be that parent. Now let's get into this. The first thing that quietly destroys a child's confidence is something called rescuing. It looks like love. It feels like love. But it's one of the most confidence-crushing patterns in modern parenting. Picture this. Your child is trying to zip up their jacket. They're struggling. They're frustrated. And within seconds you lean over and do it for them because watching them struggle feels unbearable. You mean well, completely. But what your child's brain just recorded is this: I can't do this. Someone always has to save me. That message gets filed away. And then it gets repeated 100 times, 1,000 times. Until one day your child is standing in front of a challenge, an exam, a social situation, a difficult moment, and instead of pushing through, they freeze. They look for someone to rescue them. And when nobody comes, the shame that follows is devastating. Studies show that children who are consistently rescued before they can work through difficulty show significantly lower levels of self-efficacy. That's the belief that they can handle things. And without that belief, confidence has nowhere to grow. But here's where this gets even more painful. The child who is rescued too often doesn't grow up and say, "My parents protected me too much." They grow up and say, "Something is wrong with me. I can't handle things the way others can." And they spend years, sometimes decades, trying to figure out why they feel so lost. Now flip that. Imagine instead that you sit beside your child during that struggle, not doing it for them, just being there. You say, "This is tricky, I know, but I believe you can figure it out." And when they finally get that zipper up, you watch something incredible happen in their eyes. That's not just a jacket. That's a child building the foundation of believing in themselves. Those small wins compound over time into something massive, into a person who walks into rooms with quiet certainty, who tries hard things because they believe effort leads somewhere. Research consistently shows that children who experience supported struggle as opposed to rescued comfort show dramatically higher confidence, resilience, and emotional regulation by the time they reach their teenage years. That gap only grows wider over time. Pattern interrupt. Because here's something most parenting advice never tells you. Praise is one of the biggest traps parents fall into, not absence of praise. The wrong kind of praise. If your child draws a picture and you say, "Oh, you're so talented, you're so smart," you think you're building confidence. But child psychology research tells a completely different story. Children who are praised for who they are rather than what they did, their effort, their process, their choices, become deeply afraid of failure. Because if they fail, that means they're not talented anymore, not smart anymore. And so they stop trying hard things. They play small. They stay comfortable. And confidence quietly hollows out from the inside. The parents who figured this out, who shifted from "you're so smart" to "I love how hard you worked on that, I love that you tried something new," those parents watched their children transform. Not overnight, but over months. They saw their children start taking risks, start recovering faster from setbacks, start talking about themselves differently. That shift cost nothing, but the difference it made was extraordinary. Here's another one, and this one is uncomfortable. Comparing your child to others. It might be subtle, even a passing comment about how a sibling or another child did something. To you, it's just an observation. To your child, it's a verdict on their worth. Because a child's brain cannot process comparison the way an adult brain can. They don't think, "I should work harder to achieve what they achieved." They think, "I am not enough. I will never be enough." And that thought is incredibly sticky. It wraps itself around their identity and it doesn't let go easily. The children who grow up in homes without constant comparison learn something extraordinary. They learn that their value is not measured against others, and that internal security becomes armor. They develop what psychologists call intrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from within. That kind of person is rare, and employers, leaders, and communities reward it endlessly. The parents who cultivate that in their children are giving them something that cannot be bought, a complete sense of self that doesn't crack under social pressure. But let's go even deeper, because there's a pattern that almost nobody talks about: emotional dismissal. Your child comes to you scared or sad or angry, and you say, "You're fine, stop overreacting, that's not a big deal." You say it quickly, maybe you're tired, maybe you truly believe it. But what your child experiences in that moment is devastating. They feel invisible, they feel like their inner world is wrong. And over time they learn to disconnect from their own emotions, to suppress what they feel, to perform okayness on the outside while slowly falling apart on the inside. That's not resilience, that's emotional shutdown. Children who are emotionally validated, not agreed with, not coddled, but actually seen and heard, develop something remarkable: emotional intelligence. The ability to feel deeply without being controlled by their feelings. Research shows that emotionally intelligent children have better relationships, better academic outcomes, better mental health, and significantly higher self-confidence. Because they trust themselves. They trust what they feel. And that trust becomes the foundation of trusting who they are. Imagine your child 20 years from now walking into difficult conversations at work, in relationships, in life, with the ability to hold themselves together because someone once sat with them and said, "I see you." That feeling made sense. Let's figure it out together. That 20 seconds of connection becomes 20 years of stability. The cost of not doing this isn't small. Research on adverse childhood emotional experiences shows that emotional dismissal in early development correlates strongly with anxiety, people-pleasing patterns, and chronic self-doubt in adulthood. These are not small outcomes. These are lives altered. And here's the truth that ties all of this together. You have a window, right now today, while your child is still in your home, still being shaped, still looking to you to understand who they are in this world. That window does not stay open forever. The habits forming in your child's mind right now are not waiting for you to be ready. The parents who act on this, who go beyond watching videos and actually apply these things with real structure and guidance, they see their children change in ways that still surprise them. More confidence, more openness, more emotional strength. And they tell us the same thing: "I only wish I had done this sooner." Everything you need to continue this journey is linked in the description below this video. Not just information. Real tools that walk you with your child through the exact changes we talked about today. If you're watching this and feeling that quiet urgency in your chest, listen to it. That's not anxiety. That's love. And it's pointing you in exactly the right direction. Go check out what's waiting for you below. Your child's confidence doesn't have a pause button.